Suleiman, you have a first-hand information on what happened in Otuoke. It took over 30 minutes for the president to get accredited, but it took a few seconds or a few minutes for the first lady to be accredited. If every other person will be accredited as fast as that of the first lady, maybe we'll make a headway. So we don't know why the president's own had to take that long process. Suleiman.
Well, many thanks, Chukuma. Is obvious that, well, we're getting somewhere, and from that fantastic comment, talking about his experience a while ago, that's President Jonathan, it means that we all must really keep the peace and be patient. A lot of patience is needed in this whole process. We still have Ambassador Adigun in our Abuja studios, and very quickly we'll be talking with President Muluzi, that's the former president of Malawi, who is the chairman, Commonwealth observer on this particular election. We'll be speaking with him via phone from Abuja. But basically in Sabongida Ora, that's in our western East Local Government area, the accreditation has started with initial hitches experienced with the card readers, but better results achieved when they had to go through the process of thumb printing, getting their biometrics. So the voters have to, well, note what the president has advised, a bit of patience. You can see that the First Lady, it didn't take her, well, a minute to get through the process, as well as the mother of the president. Well, initial hiccup, and that was the very first they tried on that card, the way we saw in Daura when the APC presidential candidate went through the process. So for that particular unit, we have been having live feeds. That's Unit 13, otherwise known as Otazi Playground in Otoke, Bayelsa State, south of Nigeria, where one of the candidates in this particular election and also the incumbent president of the People's Democratic Party in Nigeria, he's flying the flag of the PDP in this particular election, just went through the accreditation process. And well, for that state, they have well, over 610 voters, that is number of voters, with number of cards distributed 548. That translates to 89.88%. And when we come to our other correspondents from across the country, they'll be letting us in on what exactly is happening. And very quickly, before we go to Dr. Muluzi, who is the chairman, Commonwealth Observer Mission and former president of Malawi, as soon as he's online, we'll be talking with him on this particular election. Now let me quickly well, go back. We still have Umar Aliyu here and GT Ogunye in the studios. Quickly go back to Abuja, where we have Ambassador Adigun. He's been following and watching patiently. Earlier on, Ambassador Adigun, we talked about patience and resilience of Nigerians, and we just saw that being displayed by the people of Bayelsa, especially in Unit 13, Otazi Playground, where the president will be voting. For the president, he's also speaking just like you, as if he read your mind. You said that we must get loads and loads of patience for this particular process.
Yes, I'm quite very, very excited about what Mr. President has said. He has said it all. If I've said that initially, there might be initial hiccups in this exercise, particularly the introduction of card reader. But that notwithstanding, if Mr. President himself can wait so long and wait patiently and was able to see it through, I believe more of these hiccups might come. And it shows good example that others will follow. Any of the voters, if you find yourself in this type of situation, follow the example of Mr. President. And at the end of the day, all will be well, because the essence of this card reader is to give more credibility to this important election. And I think no sacrifice will be too much for any voter to do. And from what I've heard from Mr. President, this is quite sharing. He has led us, and others should follow. Any other logistics might occur, and it appears the electoral officials should work very hard and assist in making sure that these hiccups are tackled patiently. That is what I can say now.
Well, Ambassador Adigun, we'll come back to you very quickly. He used the word sacrifice. This is for you, GT. He said, well, we have a whole lot for this election. We have sacrificed a lot for this election as a nation, to the extent that we really can't afford to jeopardize the process. And, well, talking about patience, I recall what you said earlier on, just when we came back from Daura, how apprehensive you were when we saw that. And you also said to us that we shouldn't be judgmental, that it was too early for us to pass judgment on that particular card reader. True to talk, it came to pass that everything is now smooth with the process in Otuoke.
Yes, we have to continue to entertain hope. And then be patient, as been said. And I think that the president was very statesmanly. I'm not patronizing him. I'm very mature in the way and manner he addressed the issue of the delay. He recognized that it's just one voter. And even if there are issues with his own PVC, once all other people are able to vote, and he also knows that there are ad hoc arrangements, such isolated cases will be sorted out, that everything will be fine. And so we need that kind of statesmanly disposition by everybody in this election. Don't forget where we're coming from. In 2011, I think it was the gubernatorial election in Imo State. That election was postponed, held into the night. People were bringing lamps and all that.
You are right, Imo State.
In Imo State.
We were there live, and they were live on television.
Good, it was that problematic. But at the end of the day, a governorship candidate emerged. Don't also forget that in Ghana, in the last election, and I'm saying this on national television, a small country, smaller than Nigeria, you know, in any way you may wish to look at it, in a district, there were issues, and elections had to drag to the following day, and then they held the election. So I'm not hoping the election will drag till tomorrow, but I'm saying that to underscore the need for patience and sacrifice. In any case, the country is locked down, so what work are we going to do today? So the only business we have today is the business of election, and so we're hopeful that everything will go on smoothly, and that issues here and there will be dealt with. And it's also very important that we stress that, and I think the INEC will have provided for this, that their control tower, so to speak, will be able to monitor the officers across the field. And issues like this can be resolved quickly so that it doesn't lead to negative impressions being sustained over a very period long of time during the electioneering process. That's very important.
Well, for you, Captain Aliyu, the INEC has, well, this is not even on security, but INEC has always told us that, look, we have backup plans, plan A, B, C, and D. And GT, look at the beauty of what we experienced. Initially, I thought it was a third card reader that was brought in until Chukuma came on. He said it's the fourth one. Preparation for INEC, you know, being prepared, looking ahead. Well, how can you rate that move by INEC?
From my side of the table, through the eyes of a practitioner, that they had like 4 card readers as backup is a good indicator.
That's only for Unit 13.
Yes, but you see, on the job again, we have what we call residual risk. A risk is the probability of an uncertainty happening. And the residual risk is the probability of that same thing happening even after you've addressed all possibilities. Some people can call it act of God or unforeseen, but we capture it as residual risk. So I'm happy we have scaled the hurdle, because the response, the way the president went about it was also key to the delicate balance we have today, peace-wise and security-wise. And I must say kudos to all that were involved there.
What signals do you think this event, what we just experienced, suggests to the larger population?
To the larger population, there are going to be as many, interpretations as you can imagine. Some people will interpret it to exploit it. Some people will interpret it to actually score points. But for me, from the security practitioner's perspective, I would rather go with that interpretation as I've given, that will sustain this delicate balance of peace and security we have. Remember, we're just starting. We're still going into the day. So basically, from the indicators I saw on ground, well done INEC for having as many as 4. I think the 5th one worked. But then somebody in the situation room should be computing the fact that 4 didn't work, a 5th one worked. And what is the probability that we're going to see a replication of this same scenario across all polling booths? We should be able to be talking to people to say.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, we've been doing this non-stop from 7 o'clock. We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at so many of all these issues being raised as we go to our correspondents from across the geopolitical zones. So far, we have been speaking with so many of them. We were in Nasarawa State, and of course, the Treasurer spoke to us from Abia State, where she said, well, accreditation has started in earnest. In some places at that time she spoke to us, she said, well, some were already waiting for INEC officials to come with the materials. And we were in Katsina State, where we saw the first pass or the first move of the card reader when the presidential candidate of the APC came with a wife, and it was a record less than a minute there when he went through the process. We were also in Kano, where Idris Jibrin spoke to us about the process going on in Kano State. He did tell us all about some fantastic thing, about some coming with the thumb, and it didn't work initially. They had to go back and wash their hands, and they came back, and voila, it worked for them. So we will be going back to Kano to see how it plays out there in Kano State. And of course, Chukwuma was with us the second time to bring us live feeds from Otoke Unit 13, he calls it, or Tazi Playground, where the president of the country has been accredited so far. Well, initially, we had a bit of delay with the card reader 1, card reader 2, 3, and the 4th one finally doing the magic for us as a people. Don't forget, you also can partake in this particular process. We also have the hashtag for you, hashtag Nigeria 2015. Don't forget, we have our Twitter handles that will be displayed on the screen so that you too can be part of this process. It is a way for you to be an eye reporter on this particular election. We'll quickly love to see them pop up on the screen now so that you can get to see 1, 2, or 3, 4 handles for you to send in your tweets. And of course, very quickly, if you have them over 140 character, the email address is there for you, and I'm hoping that our producers will have them pop up now for you, so that there you have it. That's the email, Nigeria2015@channelstv.com. I'm a bit faster, don't mind me, producers. But again, you can also download the Channels TV app when you go to the market or the app store. Put them on your phone, and what you do is that you can also follow the instructions as soon as you have the Channels app on your device. Just hit them, and you can also upload your pictures. And don't forget, for those who are watching us live from across the world, it is m.channelstv.com. You don't have to put the 3 W's, just put .channelstv.com. It will pop up as well on your screen, and that is how you can get to watch us live. And of course, on youtube.com/channelsweb. The visuals and the feeds coming on, and pretty soon we also will be sharing all of that with you on this program. Nigeria 2015. We'll take a moment now and we'll return shortly.